welcome back to Next Step Leadership Leadercast October edition. We have a fun one today. This is personally, this brings me great joy, and I'm really excited to celebrate today with Nichole. Nichole Mitchell is here with me. She is an entrepreneur and a dual enrollment coordinator in the great state of Florida, in the area of Tallahassee, and she is I guess the word that I would start with is firecracker. I've known Nichole for about 10 years, and she's always had a passion for not only serving, but helping, finding answers for people if they come to her with a question. Nichole is one of those people that if you don't know, and she doesn't know, by 2 to 3 hours later, she will find an answer. It might not be the answer that you're looking for or excited about, but you guys will both know. And she's always had this service mentality. And she's also very transformational as a leader and as a friend. And I personally watched Nichole grow. I can't believe it's been almost 3.5 years. She completed her master's, and a sneak peek. Her background is in marketing. So we, as in my life as in an academic administrator, Nichole thankfully was approved, and we were able to have her do some marketing review and branding for our institution, and some of it is still in play today. And she gave me good homework, so I'm excited for that as well. But Nichole, welcome to Next Step Leadership's Leadercast. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Very excited for
Awesome.
this.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to have you. In regard to format, we have a couple of questions that I think we have 6 questions that came through from different people that have been tuning in, subscribing to the YouTube channel, the Next Step Leadership website, and they're different followers that come from Facebook, Instagram, all different platforms of social media, LinkedIn, and they've asked 6 big questions that I thought were worthy of at least getting in front of you to have. And also, we're going to leave it up to Nichole to pick the best question of the 6 today, and somebody will go home or be getting some type of mailed swag or the t-shirt that is available. So Nichole will pick of these 6 which question she feels is the best one that came from viewers. And from that 6, that one I will find you from your initial inquiry, and reaching out to send you some swag. So Nichole, I put you on the spot for that.
Right. But, I'm picking winners.
Are you ready to get rolling with me?
I'm ready.
All right. So who is Nichole Mitchell?
Well, after that introduction, I don't even know where to start. You pretty much summed it up. I mean, I really am pretty passionate. I didn't really put a term to it, a servant leader, until after reading your book. And I was like, I am a servant leader. And so with that being said, I just, I work hard at finding answers and doing the best I can to just, in general, be good to people.
And sometimes it's so hard to find the right avenues to find out what could be good for them. So and have your best interest at heart and everything else. So that's definitely a strength. That's like a superpower.
Yeah, true. Well,
it's
I
just
call it
your day to day.
More like a jack of all, master of none, because you know a little bit of some of everything.
You dabble.
Right.
Okay. Now, what would you say are your current goals?
Right now, my current goal is process analyzation for my life in general. I have a lot of changes going on, and I've just noticed anytime things change, there's usually a more efficient way to get things done. And so I'm kind of evaluating. My goal right now is to get better at juggling all of my tasks, because it's something you just can never be too good at, I think. So I'm analyzing my morning routines, and my goal right now is just to get faster at my daily accomplishments, and just really just fine tune the processes, because I think they're pretty important.
So even waking up and what the morning looks like and how that goes with the
Right.
family and the household. So that leads, you
I'm
know, down the path of if you know, we have any listeners out there that are looking at taking a step back at who they are and what they're trying to do with their life goals. Sounds like Nicole's going to be creating a blueprint for herself soon.
Yes, a journal, a notepad, lots of notes, and then just analyzing your everyday, writing down my thoughts from the morning to the end, because how you know, the way you think shapes your day and things like that. So just really deeply analyzing what am I doing every day and how can I get better at it?
Okay, and so mindset, the other
Mm.
piece of that is like what you're putting into your mind and how you
Right,
step.
everything.
Awesome, thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
All right, first question from our viewers. How do you continue to grow and develop as a leader? And what are your daily habits moving you forward? What a wild way to segue into that, right? You just got to talk about, you know, you're going through your own analysis. Now, so how do you go about growing and developing as a leader? And what are some daily habits that move you?
I think the important part of growing and developing is I listen to Audible podcasts and learn. You have to take control of your own education, and then especially for marketing, it changes every day. The platforms, the people, the feeling. So continuously researching and looking up that information and listening to podcasts are mostly my favorite. Reading, listening to books.
I just learning to start this platform with Next Step Leadership and having
Hmm.
interviews and having the books. I am victim number one to learning how to relearn social media, or you know what it looks like to go, hey, how's it going today? And being realistic about it in a way that's not pushy or aggressive, but adds to, you know, what people may be going through. So it is a constant challenge. And you're right. I think recently Instagram changed the amount of time you could have for certain avenues to do
Right.
messages and different avenues of communication. So even what I was getting used to has changed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the problem with marketing and social media is that
It just moves.
just when you think you figured it out, it's gonna change.
Just when you think it's safe to go in the water. Um,
And so
so what? I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I was gonna say, and so like some of those daily habits that you asked to help move forward is, you know, finding those morning routines, those evening routines. Routines are essential in my life to be able to move forward. Hence the reason why that's my goal of evaluating what are you doing with your, you know, your from your thoughts to your time. Just really making sure that those routines are set and good. And I'm also really big about like having post-it notes with my daily goals or inspirational reminders to keep me on track, keep them on my mirror sometimes and or on my dresser. That helps me just remember my why, like, oh, we're doing this today for these
I
purposes.
my newest hack is texting myself.
Huh.
I don't know if you've ever thought of that, or that's the newest one that I learned. So I'll start in the morning with, okay, these are the things I want to get done, and then like I'll just delete them as I move through the day. But it's kind of weird because if you leave like the text message open to yourself, right? You're always like, oh, why is that open? And then you see your list again. So that's my new favorite one for my own
Hmm.
OCD.
I
So
have to put I put them in. I make Siri put them in reminders because
oh, there you go.
in the reminders it actually has the little check marks that gives me the gratification of checking.
Okay.
So maybe
Yeah.
something
Hey,
to try.
if anybody's out there listening, we have variety for how we could help work on routine, which is even better. So, Nicole, what inspires you?
Good question. And I always have to think about that. But you know, I think the one thing that inspires me the most, and it might sound weird, but it's the sunset. I mean, the sunrise every morning. Um, Depending, I can notice a change as I've been evaluating myself. I notice a change in my mood overall on a day that's more orange versus pink or blue. and like and I'm trying to figure out what's motivating me more on some days versus other days. And that might be silly and simple to say, like, oh, an orange sunrise versus a blue sunrise, but this is to explain a little bit more how in depth I am of trying to figure out my processes and thought processes and what's really moving me forward, not just, okay, I have morning coffee at 8 a.m. and I have breakfast at 10, things like that. So, and in doing that, I realized like how much the sunrises that I see every morning inspire me to do my activities for the day.
Honestly, I love that. A lot of people who are into holistic healing, their mood, their vibe, some would even, call it goddess energy, that ability to take in your surroundings, feel nature. And for you, it's the color and the vibrancy of color, and you're basing your vibration off of what that looks like. That's not weird. It's not quirky.
Okay, good.
I actually have quite a few friends who practice and understand it,
Oh,
and
well, good.
I think that I feel like you're just dipping your toe in to figure out some of who you are, and
Right.
that's awesome. Keep digging,
Because I think
just
that
keep scratching that.
knowing, yeah, and I kind of think knowing that information and, being able to act on it, like if I had a plan for today and it doesn't match the vibe, instead of
Yeah,
allowing that to be a failure, I can adjust once you know these things.
I love
So,
that. I love that. This one is a sidewinder. It kind of comes abrupt, but what qualities are lacking among today's leaders?
I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer that. I mean, in
What's missing?
general, I think people in general, regardless of if they're leaders or anyone in general, I think we are all lacking that compassion, I think, for one another because we are communicating so much digitally these days. I've even had to step back and tell a friend of, someone pretty close to me. I was like, we seem to miscommunicate a lot, via social media. These posts, you're misunderstanding me. Why don't
Yeah.
we make an effort to only talk to each other on the phone? Because I noticed the social media platforms being a problem. So I think that some of the things that we are lacking in general is that compassion for one another, the sense of caring that you get from talking to someone in person and being around them. Um, it seems a lot more like on the surface or social media. I don't know how to say what I'm saying, I guess.
Oh, I think the other way that I would look at it too is how many times like does somebody feel off put, or like they take a text message or an email completely wrong, and you're like, can we just chat? Because that's
Right.
time
Exactly.
out, peace. That's not where we were going with that. That's probably the one that I see most. Or people read into social media. They see somebody make a post and say, "Oh, the
Hmm.
cats are on the fence today," and they're like, "What do you mean I'm on the fence? Not You're not allowed to have your own expression." Uh,
Right.
so
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, um, what does consistency mean to you?
Hmm. Well, I could give you a cute little textbook definition of my variation, but truthfully, consistency is my nemesis. I live in a world that is 100% changing all the time. And as we just discussed about social media, just when you think you figured it out, it's going to change. So I constantly fight the battle of taking these inconsistent pieces and pulling them together and trying to make something consistent with every aspect of it. So it's
Mhm.
truly my nemesis, consistency. And I bet a lot of other people can
Oh,
agree.
no question. From people's health to dieting to
Yeah.
going to doing physical fitness to work habits to sleep habits, all kinds of different forms of inconsistency versus consistency that would come from that. And I think that your initial answer of, what are your current goals, and looking at your routine and how you analyze your routine goes into a lot of why it would be your nemesis. You're
Mm,
just consistently looking for ways to be efficient and work through.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now?
3 to 5 years from now, I am would like to be in a position where I'm earning some passive financial income, um, so that I can enjoy working more. It's going to
I get
sound
it.
silly, but
No,
if you
you.
have that income, I feel like, the me taking on a new role in this dual role enrollment coordinator position is new. And I like it, but I want that, passive income so that I can be happy. Like the retired people show up to work and excited, like money's not a problem ever. And just actually enjoy whatever I'm doing. Not that I don't enjoy it now, but there's always going to be a little bit more pep in your step if you know that, hey, if something happens today, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah. The other one that comes up, the phrase is I would like my money to work for me instead of me working for my money. I
Exactly.
think that passive income is a great idea. If you have any techniques, feel free to let us know. Or if you
Right.
start to dabble in any, we would love to know more about that.
Okay. I do have quite a few things in the works actually.
Awesome, awesome. Maybe we'll do an update. I'm trying to get like all of the LeaderCast people together for a big Christmas December type special.
Oh,
So
that would be great.
maybe we'll check your passive lifestyle income out. We'll chat
I
about that
will
with the.
I will be happy to share my progression charts.
I love it. Uh, Um, how do you like working by yourself versus working with the team?
I'm in a great position to answer that, seeing how I've spent the last 6 years, almost seven, working basically alone and now in a team environment for the last 2 weeks. And honestly, I like working with a team better. I didn't know I was going to say that, to be honest. I've always kind of thought I was more of a person who enjoyed just having a task and getting it done. Um, but I really do like working with other people. The conversation that you have, just outside in general, it's fulfilling in little ways.
Oh, sure. I imagine too, just the collective of like people's angles of how they see a situation or what you're working on too.
And just being forced to meet new people. I
Okay.
think in work, or maybe they're not new in general, but working with a team kind of forces you to get to know them better.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you forget that what that comfort zone is like to be newer to your position, and you don't even know where the colder water fountain is yet,
Right.
trying to figure. Yeah. What are you reading right now? What's on the nightstand or the Kindle?
Well, I haven't. I just downloaded Scrum Mastery, and it is by Geoff Watts. So it's from good to great servant leaderships. And it might be something worth putting on your docket.
Absolutely.
Can't can't tell you my review yet
Homework.
because I haven't watched it. Listen to it.
So homework for everybody. It's right there from Nichole. One more time for us, Nichole.
Scrum Mastery,
Scrum, Scrum Mastery.
Geoff
All right.
Watts.
All right, everybody, check it out. That's our homework from Nichole for the month. What book she's got in her nightstand. I love it. Nichole, what would you say is the biggest misconception that people have about you, and how do you work through that?
I haven't done a poll lately. I'm not sure what they think. So I'm not sure, but in the past, when I have had things come up that I'm like, that is not me at all. What are you talking about? Uh, I think those type of situations are a form of constructive criticism. And I love constructive criticism. I know it sounds stupid, but I do because I'm not easily offended. And if, as I mentioned before, if I'm analyzing my own self, on a morning everyday thing, the fact that someone else is analyzing me and telling me about myself from a different perspective has always been very helpful for me. So to receive that type of misconception or criticism, I would take it and say, well, if this is not me, well, why do they think that way about me? And see how I can change it if I want to change it.
Yeah, yeah, it might be something that you're like, I know. I love
I know I'm
that.
not nice Monday mornings. Leave me alone. No, I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
no, you never know. Right. So, what would you say was your path to leadership?
Fast and furious.
Probably. I've known you for some time, and you just keep grinding. So,
Um,
was there something that happened organically that was there a switch that went off for you? Tell us some, because there might be some people out there going through the same thing where all of a sudden they were asked to be a manager or in charge of fiscal responsibility for a company or a new position. Tell us a little bit about that.
well, I would say there wasn't really a switch that went off. I do recall in college taking on the leadership roles when you're assigned all of the group projects. And at that point, being in a group, most people didn't do their part of the project, or they didn't do it the way I wanted it to be done in order for me to get the grade I felt like we deserved. So I was every single group project I had found myself in that situation. And I think that's probably the first realization of, hey, I'm different. I have different expectations, and how am I going to accomplish my goals? So I had to step up in order to receive the grade that I wanted. And so it just kind of, you have that thing where you are given the opportunity, you see that challenge in front of you, and you have to take the opportunity to not be scared, jump into it and take the learning curves and learn with
You heard it here first, everybody. If
it.
you are starting to realize, my effort is different. My the way that I look at things are different. I have higher expectations of the people I'm around. You and Nichole should probably chat. It sounds like you guys have some of the same similarities that are, if you're listening and heard that answer from Nichole, you could probably resonate very well with how she has looked at leadership or what her take is on, hey, you know what? We could do better, or we are better than this.
Mhm.
Now, tell me about a time where you were not successful as a leader.
Mhm. Oh, it happens all the time. There's lots of failures, especially in running your own company. Not really company, but my own business, because it was just me and one other person. But there's lots of failures, and I think the most important part of it is just like everybody else, getting back on the wagon and keep going, not allowing the defeat even when you're tired. And it gets very, very overwhelming, especially when you're an entrepreneur and things are not going your way and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's really hard to lose focus on things when you're not working with a team and you are by yourself and you're your own everything, mentor, guide, financial accountant, man, everything. You have to do it. So failure is going to happen, and it's just a part of life. And I think the sooner that you're okay with that, because I was not okay with it. I was very going into, I was pushed into entrepreneurship. It took a lot for me to want to take that leap of faith and quit your job and move your family and just do it. Like that's definitely not the type of person I am. I am a very calculated, I overthink everything, so
So you took the leap.
grasping failure, I know I've heard it a million times. Don't be afraid, just do it. Failure is going to happen. You hear it a million times, but actually taking the fear element out of your mind and realizing that fear is you standing in your own way is really what you have to be able to do.
Wow, that was a very passionate answer. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, what efforts have you made or been involved with to foster diversity in, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, belonging how have you, or what efforts have you made to work towards that competence and understanding with yourself and others?
Mhm. It's interesting you asked that question. I've been hearing the equity gap more now that I'm back in higher education, and it's actually the first time I've heard it over the last 6 years. So I can't say I've actually done anything um, along the line that'll fit that description. I can say in general, I'm a pretty passionate overall about education and holding people accountable for their actions. So I think that maybe that's what I would do, or what I can have added value in people in my life. Just making sure that they're not regurgitating stupid things that they see on social media that may not be true. Like, hey, that's not exactly, the case. Here's my take on it, and rolling from there.
I understand. Yeah, and it's funny because we everybody was at home for 2 years, and then you come back and there's a lot of different um, cultural components that we've come
There
back
is.
to. Not only people are aggressively excited about their own lives at home and doing what they can to, family first is a real thing now. But also cultural awareness and some of those things have really come to the forefront. So
And I
it's one of my like go-to or stand-in questions all the time is I do want to know what people are thinking about diversity. So that definitely I like how you said, well, I'm kind of policing it too. Like I hold people accountable, but if it's at home, we're gonna talk about that one. So that's
right.
really cool.
Yeah.
We've made it. Last question, Nicole. We've made it. We've gotten
So
here.
fun.
Also, if anybody wants to hear Nicole's personal take in leadership, she will be and is featured in Lessons in Leadership Volume 2. So when you pick up that copy, she is in there, and she has some really cool things to say. And it's learned too. Even leaves you with some good resources, but I'm not going to give it all away here. But we are here, Nicole. Last question. What other thoughts or ideas do you want to leave the Lessons in Leadership LeaderCast viewers with today, that are here with you and I, and that are going to take in some of your feedback today? What would you like to leave them with?
One very well used, probably quote, but the best views really do come after the hardest climbs. So keep climbing.
Keep climbing. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being in the hot seat today.
Thank you for
I
having
love
me.
I love your whole vibe. I love the answers. I'm excited for you and your new work and your new chapter with your dual enrollment coordinator position. And
Right.
we didn't really get into your entrepreneurial component. Did you want to share with us what you got cooking, or is it something for
Yeah.
later on?
Well, yeah, no, I was doing a marketing consulting structured business in the Keys, where I was training small businesses down there because it's very small and most of the businesses are small and they don't have very big budgets. So I partnered with the Chamber of Commerce and was doing some training for some of the smaller corporations down there, some of the small businesses. And then I also managed 26 vacation rentals. So I did all of their advertising for the rentals, keeping the rentals booked for them, and just the whole management process of that. And I was able to keep doing it for the last 3 years remotely. So I haven't completely taken my hands out of that. But I'm
Sure.
obviously not able to grow in that field anymore, seeing how I'm not going to make it back to the Keys anytime soon. So I'm in the process of rebranding. And I've when I moved to Tallahassee, I purchased a home and realized, my realtors are a little less of salespeople as me, as maybe I have the ability to be. So, and they weren't really negotiating the way I wanted them to. So I went ahead and got my real estate license. And I think that I'm going to work on maybe building that brand and using that as a platform to earn some income in Tallahassee.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
not really sure what we're going to do with the marketing aspect of it just yet, but that's what we have cooking for now.
I love
along
it.
with a
Maintaining
Amazon
attraction right
store.
there. Amazon
Um,
store. Oh,
yes,
cool.
I'm working on an Amazon store, so maybe we'll get some of your Next Step Leadership merch in there.
Yes, please. That'd be great. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, you actually built up your own coming attraction. So when we link up in December, hopefully, we'll be able to check in and see what's popping, man. What's
I'll be
new and what you
interested
got.
in seeing the analytics.
I love it. I love it. Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having me.